And action.
Bella.
Bro guy.
You also, Bella. I've been looking for you all around.
Why?
Come on, we've talked about this.
How many times have I told you to stop pestering me?
Bella, but you know I love you.
Have you been wanting to create content and you have been discouraged because you have been told you cannot make good quality videos with a less expensive Android phone? This video is not just to let you know that you can make good content with that Android phone, but that you can create content good enough for your use on your social media platforms. I am going to expose the secrets to you in this video. Before we get onto that, please subscribe to the channel because I am going to be giving you practical tips to make your content creation worth the while. Don't forget to hit the bell so that you will always receive notification whenever I drop a new training video here. I can imagine the frustration of being restricted from shooting because of the feeling that your Android phone is not good enough and you have to shelve the idea of ever going to start to produce any content whatsoever. The truth is, to make even great movies, you don't have to have the most expensive and fancy camera or other equipment, because at the end of the day, it is how you use the equipment that is far more important than what camera you shot with while making the movie. What you need most of all is to develop your eye and understand your equipment. And it is the understanding of the equipment in order to put it to maximum use that has brought us to the video of today. Most Android smartphones have solid cameras out of the box. Your phone has lots of auto camera settings turned on, like auto exposure, auto white balance, auto focus, auto stabilization, that is if your phone's camera has one. These tools are actually great for home videos, but if you want to achieve a more cinematic look, you will need to have control over your camera settings. You should make the camera obey you and not you obeying your camera. With the default settings of your phone's camera, the lens will adjust automatically to suit the lighting available in front of the lens, leaving you with no option of deciding the level of brightness you want your image to be, as the settings will keep adjusting to the situations in view. The same it will do for focus and the tone of the video. By doing a quick install of an Android camera app, you can lock the settings and prevent the shifting in exposure, focus, and white balance. I don't know the type of Android phone you use. Is it Samsung, Infinix, Tecno, Itel, Huawei, Redmi, Oppo, Vivo, OnePlus, Nokia, or Juni? Whichever, I will make this video very friendly across board all brands of affordable Android phones. The more expensive smartphones like Samsung Galaxy series offer features like Pro Mode, which allows manual control settings of shutter speed, ISO, and other settings. So you may not need to necessarily install a camera app on such phones, but to understand the phone and how to make it meet your creative needs. I am going to use a very affordable Android 8 megapixel phone to take us through this video. I will be using this Redmi A2 Plus. This phone was donated by Pages Phones and Gadgets. Pages Phones and Gadgets, Banex, Abuja, is trusted for quality phones and gadgets. Before we go into what apps are best for Android phones in terms of creative cinematography, let us first take a look at what we expect from the apps in question. We want an app that can allow us manually control our exposure, our focus, and our white balance. By exposure, I mean how bright or dark the video is when recording or when you've recorded. This is determined by the amount of light that reaches your camera's sensor, creating visual data over a period of time. The time period could be fractions of a second or entire hours. The more the exposure the camera sensor to light, the lighter your image will be. The less light, the darker your image. For your video to look good, you need to make sure it is not too bright, that is not too overexposed, or too dark, which means underexposed. You can adjust the exposure by changing how sensitive the camera is to light, which is controlled by ISO. Low ISO is around 100 or less, while medium is around 200 to 400. High ISO is over 1000. If the ISO gets too high, the image quality will lose sharpness and the color will get messy. The amount of light the lens allows to gain entrance into the camera is regulated by the aperture. You can also change how much light comes through the lens by adjusting the aperture. Wide aperture setting allows more light, which can be useful in low light conditions. It can equally be used when you want to achieve a shallow depth of field. This means your subject can be in focus while the background is not. And the third is how long it takes the light to get through the lens, which is determined by the shutter speed. In filmmaking, shutter speed is measured in fractions of a second, such as 1/60, 1/120, or even 1/1000. Shutter speed can be used to achieve different looks in movies. A faster shutter speed, such as 1/1000, can capture less light and freeze motion, resulting in sharper images with minimal motion blur. This is ideal for capturing fast-paced action sequences like in action movies, while a slower shutter speed like 1/24 will have a dreamlike or hazy feel with lots of motion blur. Using aperture, shutter speed, and ISO sensitivity together will give you your desired image. Using these rules can enable you get a properly exposed video in practically any situation. Focus. It is one thing for an image to be well exposed, and it is another for the image to be focused. Focus is the optimal sharpness or clarity of an image as it appears on the camera's screen. A completely sharp image is said to be in focus, while it is out of focus when it is blurry. Focus can be used as a means of storytelling. Conveying the emotion of the scene by directing the eye to something in particular. White balance. White balance is the color temperature at which white objects in a video actually look white. By making good use of white balance, you will be able to manipulate the tone of the video. To manually adjust these settings on your affordable Android phone, which does not come with manual features for adjusting aperture, shutter speed, focusing, and white balance, you will need to install Android camera apps. The best camera apps for Android phones will be discussed in my next video, because I do not want to have the video too long and thereby stretching YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe to this channel so that you will be notified when I bring to you the best camera apps in my next video and other videos. Do not forget to hit the bell to make notification process more effective. See you in my next video. Thank you.